Now, why does witchcraft, please go check out the previous pod to gauge your bearings. Why does witchcraft transform a person's personality in the same way as drugs? It's because drugs also, just like sorcery, open a third eye or something. They open people to things like hallucinations. They open people up to things like seeing into the spirit realm. So if you hallucinate because you've eaten some hallucinogenic, like a mushroom or whatever, the psychiatrist or the doctor might just write you off as you were seeing things and that's it. At least now you're sober, so stop taking the psychedelics. But when you do witchcraft and you see in that trance-like state, like people that practice sorcery, guys, enter into a trance. Like if you have watched Amasangoma, when they are busy with their ritual, they are not themselves. They're not this, calm, tempered personality that you're looking at, you standing in front of you right now. They grunt, they chant, they enter into some kind of a trance, and their eyes roll backwards. Literally all the kinds of activity that you will see in somebody that is overdosing on drugs. And on top of that, they see visions and they talk to things they cannot see. All the activity that is observable in somebody who has taken some form of narcotic. So therefore, witchcraft has got the exact same effect as narcotics. However, with narcotics, there is observable evidence, and if at all you draw blood, you will be able to tell that a person has taken mushrooms, they've taken zol, that would be weed, they've taken what you might call this, cocaine, they've taken whatever, they've taken LSD, they've taken flakka or whatever. You'll be able to find from their blood or their urine that they have done something of this nature. But witchcraft is sneaky like that. It is undetectable. They do these trances, and if they don't mix them with psychedelics, if they don't mix them with other things, that they ingest into their bodies, there is no way that, they can fail a drug test. There is no way that doctors can be able to explain their transformation. They just become schizophrenic overnight. They start seeing things. They hallucinate. They get poltergeist visitations. They have paranormal activities that are happening around them, but in a state that is not under like that which drugs put you in. They are in waking states, constantly tormented by these entities in a way that is unyielding, and it never leaves them. The way that a person that is high ultimately crashes from their high, and tomorrow they can actually have a normal day if they don't take drugs again and if they're not addicted just yet. So if a person is in a constant trance, a chant-like communication with a demonic entity, you know that they're involved in sorcery. If they are acting like a junkie, but without them being an actual physical junkie, they are involved in witchcraft. I watched in way too many for my own liking non-substance abusing family members of mine, essentially sober souls, get this personality transformations of drug addicts. And this happened when they were far long ago, out of university, out of high school, out of basically the places where kids tend to get themselves in trouble that way. Some of them were grown women, grown men with kids, married, and they changed, essentially wreaking havoc in their marriages, in their wives' lives, in their husbands' lives, in their children's lives, and in the family's lives. They changed, and unapologetically so. And in so changing, lost family, lost friends, lost company, lost respect of colleagues, but got to keep their baseline lifestyles because they were not drug addicts in the typical or the predictable sense. Okay, so let's go through the fruit of the sinful nature. Remember, I said earlier, the devil uses the flesh. So if at all somebody has been dabbling with the proverbial psychedelic, if somebody has been dabbling with sorcery, essentially, they will increase in measure these fruit of the sinful nature, and you'll be able to see a marked difference in them if you've been in their life. If you know them, if it's your own cousin, your own sister, your own mother, your own best friend. But unfortunately, some people are like that, and they come into lives of unsuspecting people. But I am here to try and help you identify these people, whether or not you've known them before, because I am currently under pursuit by Satan through such individuals as these, and I keep on getting nightmares, dreams about them coming into my life, and they're in their hordes, numbers, and the thing that they're drawn to is indeed the light of Christ in us, but they are also thrown to the church by Satan because the devil knows that he's got them in a clutch. Such a strong hold is on them that they will not want redemption, but they will want acceptance from the Christian. So essentially they will be there to exhaust the believer and to drain resources out of the believer and to make the believer ultimately feel like they ain't jack. You gotta walk away whether or not you feel sorry for them, because they're not interested in Christ. They're not interested in Christ. They're not interested. If they wanted God, they would run straight to him. They would not be trying to hassle his child. They would run to him. Okay, let me drink water again because I'm quite thirsty. I had seafood for dinner and it was quite salty, so it's made a sister a little parched. Anyway, thank God for some water to quench that thirst. Okay, so sexual immorality, there are many facets to it, many nuances to how they outwork this behavior. A person that is just a total pervert, just because it's who they are, you're just gonna know. I grew up knowing some dudes that just really could not stop asking out all the girls in the school and sleeping with all of them. These are guys that were not involved in witchcraft, but they were just jerks. Okay, they had a very unsophisticated perversion in the sense that I know that dude. In other words, I know that dude, he's always just asking all the chicks. He flies after every skirt, just leave him. Alright? They have an unsophisticated perversion. And if you've got any level of intelligence as a woman, you walk away. You just are not gonna humor that random rubbish. I'm not talking about the typical Casanova on the left and on the right of you. I'm talking about a sophisticated, smooth criminal. And the reason why they are so sophisticated is because they are guided by a beguiling spirit. They are guided by Satan. They are guided by the prince of the power of the air as to how to be intricate in how you stealthily worm your way into the life of a believer that is actively fleeing from fornication. They're actively fleeing from sexual immorality. They avoided. These are people that are gouging out their eye. They're cutting off their hand. Do you understand? They are not taking prisoners when it comes to sin. They're living consecrated lives. So you don't just get to rock up and be like, hey, mommy, how you doing? Shorty, what's your name is? And then you lick your bottom lip. Like, that kind of stuff ain't gonna fly in a Christian's life. It's not gonna work in a male Christian or a female Christian's life. Because the moment you come to a daughter of God as one such Casanova, she is going to be like, why are you talking to me? I don't understand what's going on here. Stop DMing me. Or she will completely ignore you altogether. So Satan knows how to stealthily worm in a sexually perverse agenda into the life of a person that is super consecrated, a person that is essentially nailed to the cross, an individual that is taking up that cross on the daily and following Jesus, and a person that knows how to run from fornication, flee from it even wreaking or ransacking havoc in your brain. No. Yeah, so these people are not so much naturally just gifted with that sophisticated talent of being Janus and Jambres in 2 Timothy 3. It's a supernatural power. I told you, people in the occult are like mutants. They go and they fetch superpowers from the spirit realm and they feel all pompous because of it. Megalomaniacal. In that state, they want to control everything. And so they are the beguiling force behind that which has caused many a minister, many a woman of God to find themselves compromised because they allowed or they entertained something that they were very uncomfortable with for a long amount of time, but they could not quite put their finger on what that was until finally they have fallen. It is similar to that which would have been the temptation of Samson by Delilah. I mean, Samson was already kind of like weak. Sexually, he just did not have much self-control, but he was able to hold on to the secrets in his mind. What Delilah did was beguile the man and manipulate him over a season of time until ultimately he let his guard down and his strength was severed from him. These people deliberately seek out Achilles to find his heel. You do not just, find on the first date that how it is that you bring down Achilles is by striking his heel. You gotta constantly probe and work on him and cajole his senses until the dude is so mesmerized that he will give the secret of his weakness. And then one day you go and you tell on him and he gets stricken and the dude finally falls to the ground. So they take away Herculean strength, they take away Samsonic strength, they take away Achillean strength, but very stealthily. And if you don't look out for it, danger gevaar ungozi. These people don't even know that this is what they're doing some of the time. They're so under the spell of Satan. They're so under occult magic. They're so demon possessed that they can't even see just how beguiling they are, to a point of, what is this, like drowsying even the most effervescent and earnest of Christians. It is why we need the spirit of discernment. Next part.